Welcome back, gentlemen, to day 2 of Mental Dominance. Before we begin today, I am just curious to hear from all of you. I'm going to go around real quick, and I want you in like 20 seconds to kind of tell me what was the part that stood out most to you yesterday, the part that you've been thinking about most in the last, 12 hours or so that have passed. Start right here.
Oh man, I'm like sleep deprived, so can't even think right now. But
all right, let's start with you.
Yeah, say don't convey. So like there'll be times like I just say too much, but I can just be conveying it in like a higher status way, and get way better results.
Good, man. What you need now is a metaphor to describe what you just said.
Okay.
That's your next step.
All right.
All right. After lunch, I expect to have an answer.
The availability misweighting bias.
What about it?
Just looking at how it has affected me at various points, and now that I'm more aware
Is
of it.
there a couple like past relationships, stuff like that in particular you're thinking about?
Yeah.
That still kind of weigh heavy, but are starting to get lighter for you, almost like they're not there anymore?
It's more, I saw why they weighed heavy at that point, and now that I know why, I can step back, and
Good,
next
man.
time it won't be the same.
No, it won't at all. All right, let's keep going.
Everything. I don't know. I'm trying to pick one thing, but things like the getting more into the halo effect and these different cognition tests and things. The verbal mirroring too.
Good, man. I know yesterday you
Just
came up to me.
everything, just
Yeah.
like
After we did like the one sentence thing, I remember you came up to
Yeah.
me and you were like,
yeah,
that
was
made so
big
much
for
sense to me.
because I wasn't really able to figure something out before.
I train
Sounded
Olympic
good.
athletes. It's beautiful. All right.
Less is more using the metaphor. The anecdotes, telling stories instead of selling the points. And then the one-liner thing was amazing. It's like, I never even thought that, I have not to spend the money. It's so simple.
It's beautiful. You see how it like rolls off your tongue right now too? It's,
Yeah.
You've been practicing? Good, man.
No, just there.
It's just there, right?
Yeah, just there.
It's awesome, man. Cool.
For me, it was like convey, don't say, like that people connect the dots, and also overnight celebrity status. I created the website, and also in my description, I used a couple of metaphors.
Did you create it already?
Yeah,
Oh, you already did it?
yeah. So
Dude.
really like,
I'll clap that shit out. That's some fast action. Is it yourname.com?
no, not yet. Like it's in ClickFunnels. I've just to connect it to the domain.
Beautiful.
But it's online. Like you can check it out.
If you want me to check it out later, I'll take a look in
Yeah.
a couple minutes. Yeah.
I just have to say the whole concept of spinach versus chocolate, just to kind of piggyback off that one. But not only just describing what you do, but just how everybody just flipped what they did, but just beyond that and just selling and marketing yourself, how it's so much more effective depending on your audience of using the right words and conveying it properly. So that really stood out the most.
Awesome, man.
I kept thinking about that last night too. Just going through my head.
Yeah.
Chocolate and spinach?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the
It just made it so
contrast.
easy to understand.
Yeah.
Good. Good, man.
obviously, chocolate versus spinach was huge. Thinking about how much it's more emotional in terms of persuasions. You tend to really want to like logic and fix things in the way you think, but it's so simple to just
Chocolate.
it's so simple to just chocolate. But the real thing that like really stood out to me was the whole interpersonal hierarchy. You know, it starts with who's saying it, it's who's qualifying who, and then it's the content first. You know, it doesn't matter anything as long as you're a high status, you're a celebrity, you have authority, your message will get through. If you have all that, it's still not enough. It's who's qualifying who, you know, how you're doing that, you know. So many times I can think back, so many times I focus on content, you know. And it's like, now I get the whole.
It's funny. It's like a basketball player who just practices layups for like 10 years straight and never like, oh, maybe I should big up my vertical jump or my speed or my quickness, like the things that actually make a guard a good guard. You know what I mean? But he's just like, no, free throws or standstill shooting, which is such a small part of the game. And you're like, what do I say? What do I say? And it's like, nah, man. Look at all the best players in the world, the Kobe's, the MJ's. They weren't sitting there practicing their layups, man. They were the best because of who they were at the top, you know? Good, man. And it's good. What I love most about that hierarchy is that wherever, like you're saying, like if you find yourself, I'm just like, what do I say or what do I need to do here? Like you can check yourself and you can be like, wait, where am I right now? Why am I'm at the bottom right now? Like, I can go one level up and I can just start qualifying her and start pinging that, see if that works. And that might even push me up to the higher level where I don't even need to do anything and she'll just do everything for me. But you can, like, gives you a sense of where you're at. You can go from there.
Yeah, the map, the perspective. to follow.
Amen.
I think the biggest thing was the context bias. It sort of reminded me of a story in my life where that sort of actually happened.
What
What was
happened?
that? It was basically I was playing we were playing a card game with this chick, and she was sort of the story that you said. She was like this really prude chick. She was like very shy. You wouldn't have expected that sort of story to come from her. And we were all of a sudden we somehow got on the topic of sex, and she started talking about some dude like fucking her with a knife.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Like, what?
Dude, where do you play card games? Knife fucking. That's a new one. I actually never heard of that before.
I never heard of it either.
Yeah, wow.
It sort of surprised me.
Which end of the knife?
Yeah, I know.
I think it was the.
Let's not get into it.
Huh. I mean, she was still there, so. She's like, it turns like a really sad story. She's like, that was the first time someone attempted to murder me. He's in jail serving 15 to life right now for attempted murder. He wasn't fucking me life, he was trying to kill me.
The funny thing about that is like another one of our friends was like, she's sort of like obsessed with sex, I guess, and like she brought it up another time when we weren't in that relaxed situation, and she got sort of pissed off at her for bringing it up.
Really?
Yeah.
So in one context, she didn't want to talk about it, but in the other, where everyone's cool with it, she's free. It's amazing, right? So there's not like some magic sentence you have to say to get a girl talking about sex. You just create an environment where it's natural, normal, and free, and she actually just does it.
I didn't really realize it until I actually like thought about it, and I was like, oh shit.
Now you get it, right?
Yeah.
And once you get it, now you can recreate it, right? For your own gain, for the betterment of everyone else. Okay. All right. So we are going to jump right the fuck in. And this one, for anyone who's interested in marketing, which should be every single human being here, okay? This one is it should hit hard, okay? It should hit hard. I'm not going to say this person's name because I got access to an email thread that they had that I probably shouldn't have gotten access to. So like, it's funny, if you go on Google and you search like Steve Jobs emails, you can actually see a lot of the emails that he would send to the CEOs of Google, employees at Apple, different stuff like that. Like, it's just really interesting to see how he communicated privately with people. So I'd recommend everyone go Google that just to kind of see it. It's just interesting as shit. He was just as big a badass in email, by the way, in case anyone was curious. But I get access to this email. This is a guy who's a really successful businessman. He's under 40. His company is worth multiple 9 figures right now. He's not a billionaire, but he's worth several $100 million. And it is an email thread between him and a joint venture partner, a guy who sends him customers and referrals, and a lot of them on a regular basis. And it is like a 16 email thread where guy number 1, guy I'm talking about, is just doing everything he possibly can to get guy number 2 to send him more referrals, to send him more customers, to send him more traffic. Okay, and the first email is like a good one. It's not like, I'll call it stage 1, where it's not like impolite, but he's definitely selling him. He's like, here's why I want you to do this, here's why I think it'll work, et cetera, et cetera. And the guy totally resists in the first response. So then he comes back harder. He incentivizes him more. Let's do this. Let's do this. I know, like, you think that, but like, let's really look at the numbers here. Let's be rational about this, and blah blah blah. And the guy says no. He comes back. He says no. Over the course of 2 weeks, okay. Who here, by the way, if you got a no 2 or 3 times from someone where you kept asking them and they said no, like, and this is not just like some friend or something. This is like another multimillionaire who you're asking for something from, and he says no, and then he says no again, and then he tells you, no, I'm not doing it. Would you stop?
We're not supposed to.
But you gotta be honest with yourself. Would you would stop, right? Everyone here would stop.
Yeah.
I would too. Before I saw this email chain, I would have stopped. Okay? This motherfucker did not let up for a fucking second. Okay? He emailed him back again, and then 3 hours went by and the guy didn't respond. He emailed him back again, 3 more hours, again. So 3 emails in a row. You know how with girls you're never supposed to double text? Right? If you text her and she doesn't respond, you never, like, don't send like the question mark. Wow. You can do that in business, right? As long as you're continuing to come from a position of strength. He wasn't emailing him saying, please, like, please, I'm low status, but help me. It was like, I'm incentivizing you more. Here's the other fucking badasses who are doing this. You should join them, right? He was hitting him with all the persuasion triggers, all the power influence triggers. So over 16 emails, they go back, and email 16, multimillionaire guy number 2, says yes. Okay, it says yes. And it's made guy number 1 several more $1 million as a result of it, okay? Just me getting access to that and just seeing that, right? It's an environmental exposure. That changed the way I look at joint venture recruiting and affiliate recruiting and stuff like that forever. Okay, it changed the way I look at it forever. Because I'm like I used to run this group, the Digital Millionaire Mastermind. I don't think anyone here was in it. You came to the seminar, yeah. Where we took these guys who didn't know anything about online marketing and we taught them how to start their own business and build them up. And maybe 6 of them now are actually making money online. Like about 6 of them are making a couple $100s a day just on autopilot online, which is great, right? Which is cool. But the majority of them, okay, didn't do shit. They didn't do shit. And it wasn't because we didn't give them the right motivation, the right tools, the right plan. They just didn't work the plan. They didn't implement it correctly. Okay? And one of the big steps was recruiting affiliates. We told them, here's how you recruit affiliates. Here's how you do it. And they'd email people, and the people would get back to them and say, hey, not interested. They'd come back to us, and they'd be like, affiliate recruiting doesn't work. Affiliate recruiting doesn't work. Okay, no, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that you don't work. Because you didn't work hard enough. You sent 1 email, and you have nothing, while the guy who owns a 9-figure business, he sends out 14 emails to the same guy to get him to fucking mail for him. Like, consider that. You have nothing and you give up after 1 try, and the guy who doesn't need shit because he has 10 Rolls Royces is wasting his time sending 14 emails from his phone just to get 1 affiliate. Why do you think he's successful and you're coming to us saying that it doesn't work? That's the truth. All right, that's the truth. So, there's another guy who has one of the top marketing mentors that I've ever had. His name is Joel Marion. Okay, he owns a company called BioTrust Nutrition. It's a supplement company. In 4 years, they went from 0 to, I don't even want to say that, it's insane, okay? 0 to, let's say, more than $400 million a year in less than 4 years, selling supplements, okay? People are like, supplements, $1 billion industry. Well, he's almost at $500 million already, okay? He is an animal, and he's a genius and a savage, and I love him. Okay, he's insane. He first started in online marketing in 2008, so 8 years ago. Okay, 8 years ago, he was a gym teacher in New Jersey. Okay, he was a gym teacher in New Jersey. He woke up. He was 26. He had to get up at 6 a.m. to go deal with middle school kids or high school kids, whatever the fuck he was. Okay, and he'd have to deal with their attitudes and their bullshit, and he hated it. And he found this online marketing thing, and he was like, I can do this. Okay. He wrote an ebook. It was called Cheat Your Way Thin. It was a fat loss ebook, okay? In the first 4 days he launched it, it made $300,000, okay? He went out the next day, he bought a Cadillac with a check, and then he moved to a penthouse in Tampa, and he never looked back. True story, okay? Who here, by the way, hears that and is like, fuck, I want to do that. Everyone's like, yeah, okay? Well, the reason is because he is the most ferocious marketer I've ever seen, okay? He is just incessant, he is relentless, and he wins every time, okay? And what I have here, which we're gonna include in the members area for all of you when you get Mental Dominance so you can actually download the template, is the first email template that he sent when he launched Cheat Your Way Thin. This was the template he sent out to over 100 different affiliates, guys with fat loss websites, guys who had other ebooks he thought could promote his product. This is his first point of contact to get them. This was the email he sent that ended up making him $300,000. Okay, now it's important to note, okay, remember what the first story I told you, okay? You send out the first email, this is gonna get you started because it's a really good template, okay? But if he says no, you don't stop. If he says no, you get excited because boom, we got a conversation now, right? I can make some shit happen here. All right, so you follow up and you follow up and you follow up and you do what you gotta do. You have all the fucking formulas and triggers. You have access to psychological advantages, and this is fucking psychological ammunition that the rest of the world doesn't have. You know what to do to make shit happen, right? But this is how you start, Okay, this is how you start. So I'm going to read to you the template right now, and you guys are going to you're going to have it be able to download, of course. But if you want, as I read it, just take like notes on the key phrases, words you think are important. Okay. So. Let's say he was writing to me here, Alex. So I'll just put in the name. Okay. Hey, Jason. This is Joel Marion from wherever here. I've been a fan of your stuff for a long time and thought it was about time I finally reached out to you. You may or may not be familiar with me, but and then he highlights 3 accomplishments or credibility points that he has, okay? 3. Now, by the way, with your one sentence, is that your first? Hell yeah. That'd be your first thing there, right? So he says, I have a newsletter that goes out to these many people. I regularly write for this publication. By the way, you can write for any publication you want. All those free like online websites and stuff, if you send them an article and it's not bad, they will publish it. When I was 20 years old, I wrote a basketball training article and I sent it to a website. It's called criticalbench.com. Anyone ever heard of that website? It's a big weightlifting website. They get millions and millions of visitors every month. I sent the guy an article. Like 10 minutes later, his wife wrote me back and was like, great, we'll publish this. Okay, because they just want to publish content because it builds up their SEO. So I wrote one article for them, and for the rest of my life, I could say I wrote for Critical Bench. Okay, so you can do that too, all right? And then he said, I'm a certified person who has done these things. Anyway, if you have a couple minutes to spare, I would love to get you on the phone one day this week to chat about setting up an interview to promote your product and some other ways I might be able to help you and your business. Do you have time on specific date at this time? Let me know if that works for you. Look forward to helping you any way I can. Keep killing it, Jason. Joel Marion. By the way, I loved your newsletter the other week about X, right, something specific, and then he said, make a small comment on the newsletter, like a specific thing in their newsletter that you really liked, something that you thought was probably personable to them, okay? That's the whole template. Who thinks they could ad-lib that? They could fill in the blanks. Good, okay, good. That's how you recruit affiliates.